guys, how's it going? I just got these in the mail here today, so I'm gonna go ahead and put them on the car. I've never done one of these before, so I'm just gonna kind of generically put it somewhere on the car here. I'm doing what they call a centerfold method, and what that entails is exactly what it sounds like. Let's see if that looks pretty level. And don't gotta be perfect, the car's gonna get hit and scraped probably. So anyways, the centerfold method, as they say, just to put it right here in the middle with the tape, and using this little Bondo squeegee thing and a little X-Acto knife, they say to do one side at a time, peeling this back, taking this back off, putting it on there, and then inversely doing it the other way. Alright, so here goes nothing. I said to make sure that I peel off the backing carefully. I'm going to use this little piece of tape to hold the graphic over there while I cut the backing off. Okay, and the next part they said was to just kind of keep this just a little bit taut and just work on it. And then to do the same thing for the other side. Now I can peel it a little bit further back from there. Pulling it taut again. And before I let it touch, I'm using the actual Bondo scraper to make it do the first point of contact. This is probably the most wrong way to do it, but as far as I can gather, this is how it was done. And then I guess we just peel this paper off. Also, to prep the surface before I got started, I used an ammonia-based or ammonia-free, I don't remember, some kind of glass cleaner. Because you're not supposed to have any wax or any kind of oils on the surface. And it's looking really good. I got one little tiny air bubble right in the middle of that Z, but looking really good so far. To me, at least. Alright, and here's the other side. Just got done with it. It's got a couple little tiny air bubbles, but I don't really care too much. Alright guys, how's it going? Today I'm putting stripes on the rally car. I got my red and I got my blue. Both are gloss. Anyways, I'm going to show you guys a couple different techniques and a couple little tricks to make sure that your spray paint job actually turns out halfway decent. First off, gloves. You got to keep all your oils inside your hands and not inside your paint. Second, I've already laid my masking tape before I started sanding anything. Reason being is I want to be able to buff these stripes off later on. Which leads me to my third thing, is I'm using 400 grit sandpaper. It's enough to make the paint roll and etch it pretty good. Plenty to make the paint stick really well. But it's not to the point where you're not going to go through the paint. So you can actually buff off the stripes and have it back to white if you don't like the stripes. Okay, and the next thing is you want to make sure, a lot of people just take their sandpaper, rip it, use that part, and start sanding. Don't do that. Cut your sandpaper. The reason being is when you rip it, it actually changes the grit and makes it either really rough or just kind of changes it, and it won't turn out very good. It's also nice to have good sharp lines so that you can stay right inside. Okay, third tip is when you're sanding, don't use your fingertips like this into the paint. You're going to want to fold up your sandpaper to the recommended size or whatever size you want. And I like to hold it right about inside there and use this part of my palm to do the sanding. So you'll see, and you can grab it between these fingers, those fingers. But it's just good to let your palm do the work instead of your fingers. And the reason why you do that is because if you use your fingers, well, it's kind of already done it right there, it'll actually sand it with like a little wake effect And if your paint's really shiny, you might see those little finger creases. Another thing I'm doing while I'm sanding is I'm not going side to side. I want my sharp edges to stay there without hurting the rest of the paint. So no circular, no side to side. I'm just going straight up and down, and I am letting the sandpaper walk on top of the masking tape at times. Doesn't really matter as long as you don't go too much and start actually hurting the masking tape. Alright, so now that everything's sanded, I'm using a nice clean gray Scotch-Brite, cut to about the width I need it. And I'm just going to go ahead and sand it all over again, just really gently, making sure I don't break through the paint. That way I can always come back to that white and buff it to a shine. Alright, now that you've Scotch-Brite the whole thing, you can blow it off, making sure that you get all your water out of your line so you're not blowing a whole bunch of moisture into this porous paint. It's all blown off and tack ragged off. Go ahead and get out your first paint. I'm going to paint the red stripe first, wait for that to dry, mask this off, and then use the blue over here to make sure I don't get any overspray on between the two. I'm just dusting the first couple of coats on. It's still really pink. I don't know if you can see it in the video or not. I'm going to dust the first couple of coats on, wait for it to tack up after about 5 or 10 minutes, and then do a slightly heavier coat. I'll do that about 3 or 4 times. Alright, it's been about 20 minutes. The red is starting to tack up, but we still got to wait a little longer. It's still a little too tacky to be putting paper near it. Okay, so what I'm doing here is without touching the red, I made this big skirt, and the red's almost dry, but I don't really want to touch it for the next couple, 4 or 5 hours, but I want to get the blue on here pretty soon. So I'm just going to hold this skirt up, paint the blue, and don't let anything touch. Alright, so just like the first video, just a nice, really light dusting coat first. Now before the paint dries completely, I like to peel the tape off at a 90-degree angle like this, because if you wait till the paint's almost dry, it could actually attach itself to the masking tape, and as you're pulling off your masking tape, it could pull off the paint. And there you guys have it.